Nestled on the lush Atlantic coastline of West Africa, Sierra Leone is a nation blessed with abundant natural wealth and a vibrant cultural tapestry. Its story, however, is one of both heartbreak and hope. In the early 19th century, the British established Sierra Leone as a settlement for freed slaves from across the Atlantic. Black loyalists from North America, Jamaican Maroons, and recaptured Africans liberated from illegal slave ships made their home in Freetown. These settlers, later known as the Creole people, developed a distinct culture and soon came to dominate. Freetown flourished, becoming a beacon of Western education with Fora Bay College, producing West Africa's earliest scholars and professionals. Yet, as the coastal colony thrived, it remained isolated from the protectorate, the vast hinterland home to various indigenous ethnic groups. British colonial policies sharpened this divide, granting the Creole elite greater political and educational privileges while leaving the interior under indirect rule. This imbalance laid the groundwork for future tensions. After World War II, returning Sierra Leonean soldiers, many of them disillusioned by colonial hypocrisy, added new energy to demands for change. Across Africa, the winds of independence were stirring. In Sierra Leone, nationalist leaders seized the moment. In 1951, the Sierra Leone People's Party, SLPP, was formed by uniting Creole intellectuals with traditional leaders from the protectorate. Among its most prominent figures was Sir Milton Margai, a soft-spoken British-trained doctor, Dr. John Karefa Smart, a brilliant scholar, and Bai Farimatas II, a paramount chief. Together, they bridged the colonial divide and began to lay the foundation for a modern Sierra Leonean state. Sir Milton emerged as the face of the independence movement. His steady, diplomatic approach won the confidence of both local communities and British authorities. As chief minister, he led constitutional talks in London and secured a framework for peaceful transition. By 1957, the SLPP had won a parliamentary majority, reaffirming its national mandate. In 1960, Margai signed the final agreements with Britain, and on April 27, 1961, Sierra Leone became an independent nation. The first years of independence were filled with promise. Sierra Leone invested in infrastructure, education, and public health, funded largely by revenues from iron ore and diamonds. When Sir Milton died in 1964, his brother Sir Albert Margai succeeded him. Unlike his brother, Albert's leadership sowed division. Accusations of ethnic favoritism and authoritarian tendencies emerged. His bid to turn the SLPP into a one-party state stoked fear and distrust, particularly among the Temne and Limba ethnic groups, who increasingly gravitated toward the opposition All People's Congress, APC. In 1967, Sierra Leone held tense general elections. The APC, under Siaka Stevens, claimed victory. But just as Stevens was about to take office, the military intervened. Army Commander General David Lansana annulled the results, arguing that traditional chief elections were still pending. He declared martial law and arrested Stevens. Chaos ensued. Junior officers launched a counter-coup, ousting Lansana and establishing the National Reformation Council, NRC, which suspended the constitution and banned political parties. But this military regime quickly lost public support. Then, in 1968, a revolt by junior enlisted men, sergeants and corporals, toppled the NRC, led by Sergeant Major Amadou Rogers. The group restored civilian rule and reinstated Siaka Stevens as Prime Minister. Stevens returned, emboldened and determined to consolidate his authority. He survived multiple coup attempts and declared Sierra Leone a republic in 1971. becoming its first executive president. From that point forward, Sierra Leone's democracy gave way to dictatorship. The year 1978 saw Stevens orchestrate a constitutional referendum that transformed Sierra Leone into a one-party state under the APC. Dissent was crushed. Corruption became endemic. The nation's diamond wealth, once a tool for development, was now controlled by shadowy cartels and smuggled abroad. Public infrastructure deteriorated. Healthcare faltered. Schools declined. Stevens held on to power through political patronage and security crackdowns. Finally, the year 1985 saw him step down, but only after handpicking his successor, Army Chief Joseph Saidu Momo. Hopes for change were quickly dashed. Momo inherited a broken system and did little to fix it. Mismanagement, repression, and economic collapse defined his presidency. By the late 1980s, the country was nearing total collapse. The people's faith in government crumbled. Meanwhile, in neighboring Liberia, warlord Charles Taylor was plunging the country into civil war. Porous borders and illicit trade routes made Sierra Leone vulnerable to spillover. On March 23, 1991, Foday Sanko, a disgruntled ex-army corporal, led the Revolutionary United Front, RUF, in a cross-border assault, launching Sierra Leone's civil war. President Momo proved powerless. Frustrated with the government's failure, a group of junior officers decided to take matters into their own hands and staged a coup in 1992. Through this, Captain Valentine Strasser, just 25 years old, became the world's youngest head of state, but Strasser's military junta failed to stop the war. In 1996, Brigadier Julius Maada Bio overthrew Strasser and, under pressure from civil society and international actors, handed power to a civilian government. Ahmad Tejan Kaba of the SLPP won the election and signed the Abidjan Peace Accord with Sanko. The ceasefire soon collapsed. In 1997, Major Johnny Paul Koroma launched another coup with support from the RUF. President Kaba fled. The junta, now ruling through the AFRC-RUF alliance, committed widespread atrocities. ECOWAS, led by Nigeria, intervened militarily in 1998. They ousted the junta and reinstated Kaba, but the violence continued. The following year, on January 1999, the RUF and AFRC stormed Freetown in an operation they chillingly named Operation No Living Thing. Thousands were killed. The capital burned. The international community responded. The United Nations deployed the UNAM-SIL peacekeeping mission. Britain launched Operation Palliser in 2000, sending troops to stabilize the country and protect foreign nationals. British forces helped rebuild the Sierra Leone army and strengthen security. After a decade of war, more than 50,000 people were dead and over 2 million displaced. In 2002, the war was declared over. Reconstruction began. A Truth and Reconciliation Commission, TRC, gave victims a platform to share their stories. Under Kaba's leadership, Sierra Leone began to heal. Schools reopened. In 2007, Ernest Bai Koroma of the APC became president. His tenure saw infrastructure growth and anti-corruption campaigns, but also economic setbacks and public frustration. Then came another test, which struck through the Ebola outbreak in 2014. The virus overwhelmed the country's weak health system, killing nearly 4,000 people and sending the economy into free fall. By 2016, the outbreak was contained, but scars remained. In 2018, Julius Maada Bio returned, this time via the ballot box. As SLPP's candidate, he defeated Samura Kamara and became president. Bio launched free education initiatives, abolished the death penalty in 2021, and outlawed child marriage in 2024. However, economic hardship and inflation sparked unrest. The recent 2023 elections saw Bio narrowly avoid a runoff. The opposition cried foul, and international observers reported irregularities. Tensions simmered. Then, in November 2023, Sierra Leone was rocked by another attempted coup. Gunmen attacked military sites and freed over 2,000 inmates. Former President Koroma was charged with treason, but later allowed to leave for medical treatment in Nigeria. Despite everything, Sierra Leone has not fallen. Through war, disease, and political turmoil, its people have shown extraordinary strength. This is Sierra Leone, a nation forged in fire, rising again and again, still writing its future.